We'll hear about the perspective on transforming agricultural resources into the high-value food ingredients that can strengthen our regional collaboration and to identify the practical ways to scale innovation for a greater economic, social, and environmental impact. And to officially commence our symposium, it's now my honor to invite our distinguished representative from TISTR to deliver the welcome remarks. May I kindly invite Dr. Bunnanida Soda. She is the Director of International Relations Division of TISTR on the stage, please.
Good afternoon, distinguished speaker, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Thailand Institute of Scientific and Technical Research Artister, we are very welcome all of you to join this ASEAN Symposium. Today, this event we will highlight on science, technology, and innovation on food sustainability. So we hope that this event will inspire you to join in collaboration in the future. And so thank you for all participants for joining us today, and also special thanks to Vitro, UNEDO, and Informa Market, and all members for your support. Thank you so much, and very please enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bunnanida, for the very warm welcome. Now, before we proceed to the technical session, we would like to have a little moment to take a group photo together in the front of the stage. And may I kindly invite all of the speakers to join us on the stage, please. Okay, wait for the camera, please. Look at the camera. For the second photo, we will take a group photo with all the participants. So could all the participants please stand up? And the speaker, please turn around. Yes. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the session 1 of today. This session will focus on the regional perspective on transforming agricultural resources into the value-added food ingredients. And we have 4 speakers in this session, and each speaker will have 10 minutes for their presentation. And after each presentation, we will have a short Q&A session for each speaker. So now let's begin the session. Our first speaker is Dr. Umesh Hebba. He is the Chief Scientist and Head of the Food Engineering Department at the CSIR, Central Food Technological Research Institute of India. And also he is now the professor at the Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research. Dr. Hebba has made a huge contribution to value addition and sustainable utilization of agricultural resources. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Umesh Hebba on the stage, please.
Good afternoon. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizer TISTR for inviting CSIR India to this symposium and giving us an opportunity to present a talk. So the time frame given is 10 minutes. I would like to stick to that. Okay. Straight away, I'll go to my presentation. So I'll be briefly mentioning about the innovative technologies that we are trying to adopt in our effort to convert the agro waste, particularly the food waste, into the valuable commodities, including the food ingredients. So I have come from CSIR India. So to briefly mention about CSIR, it is an 84-year-old organization, mainly working in different domains of science and technology. We have 37 laboratories across the country, and we have more than 3,500 scientists working in different areas of science and technology. Out of these 37 laboratories, 4 or 5 labs, including CFTRI, is working in the area of food and allied sciences. So coming to my organization, Central Food Technological Research Institute, this is one of the constituent laboratories of CSIR. We are located in Mysore, in the southern region of India, and we are 75 years old. Our main mandate is to develop cost-effective and bio-friendly and sustainable food processing technologies with the main focus on food safety, security, health, nutrition, and environment. So we have the portfolio of nearly 700 plus technologies and 900 patents and more than 10,000 publications. In the last 75 years, the CFTRA has immensely contributed to the growth of Indian food industry, and we have many multinational companies also in our clientele list. So the current focus is now mainly on the major food processing aspects, as well also looking to the waste products that are coming out during processing and how it can be converted into value added products, both food and non-food, both we are attempting now. So when we talk about the value addition to agro resources, that is the basic or the prime focus of today's talk. So nearly 4 billion tons of food is produced annually, and as per one report, almost 1/3 of that goes waste. If you see the food processing industry, nearly say 40%, the maximum could be even 40 to 50% of waste generation is possible depending on the type of food that we are handling. So these now we can't afford to leave this alone like waste material, because it is a rich source of both macro and micronutrient. It has carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, and also very valuable micronutrients like the vitamins, minerals, and dietary fibers. So we have all these very highly valuable compounds in it, and it needs to be seen how this can be extracted and how we can use them as an ingredient in the food processing sector. So these are the 4 major areas, the commodity wise group. If you see fruits and vegetable, grains, and the oil seeds, and also the other waste that we are getting when we harvest the food. So all these things are to be taken into consideration when we develop the technology. Now the challenge. So we all know that it is important, and we also we are all working across the globe. We are working on this, but the new challenge is how to make it sustainable, how to make it cost effective, how to make it environmental friendly. These are the challenges that we have, and that needs to be addressed. I think one the solution could be innovation in every step. So we need to have a holistic approach towards this. Then only we will be able to get a scalable, sustainable food processing operation for a highly valuable compound from maybe the agro resources, mainly the waste material. So raw material quality, getting a good quality of raw material, consistency should be there, and also the processing aspect. We should see both into not just the processing, pre and post processing aspects are also taken into consideration. That is what I talked about, the holistic approach towards the process development. So the current requirements are energy. If the focus is on energy, mainly it reduces the cost as well as the environmental impact can be minimized. But at the same time, from the quality and safety point of view, also the regulatory requirements as well as the stability and quality of the ingredient that we have produced also to be seen. So we need to have a multi-pronged approach in order to reach the place where we want to reach now. So there are novel methods, novel approaches that are, I think every institute is trying, who are working on in the area of food and agro waste. So there are a lot of green technologies or the newer technologies which are environmental friendly, and also which requires less amount of energy and reduces the carbon dioxide production, or contribute towards reducing the carbon footprint. So these like ultra-safe assisted, when we talk about extraction of the biomolecules or the bioactive compounds from the waste, so extraction becomes a very important unit operation. So there are number of newer methods, newer technology like ultrasound assisted, microwave assisted, supercritical fluid extraction. All these things are now coming up. We need to explore these things as the novel techniques. Apart from that, the use of solvents. Generally, use of solvent becomes a major issue when you go for extraction. So solvent traces are not supposed to be there in the end product. Now we are going for the bio-friendly or the environmental friendly solvents which can be used in the extraction process. At the same time, we can integrate with other non-thermal processes, because when we talk about processing, it is a number of stages, not just in one step we get the product. So all these things need to be taken into consideration. Now the whole world is talking about AI and ML. So integration of this AI and ML in the processing line or in the processing stage itself could be a good approach. So now the world is talking about the personalized nutrition, designer foods, wherein specific foods are to be designed. So where the ingredients what we are taking out from the biomaterial can be used as a good ingredient, and then the specific food can be designed using additive manufacturing process. That is how the integration is possible. So in the now I will come to what CFTR or the CSIR labs have done in the last 75-80 years. So we have looked into this right from the beginning, right from our inception, and developed many products. So it includes the dietary fiber, flavoring agent, enzymes, colorant products which are both food and non-food. So due to paucity of time, I will not be able to go through the details of that, but what I would like to highlight here is we are trying to approach or trying to adopt the newer techniques or the novel techniques and make an integrated process wherein finally we will be able to get a cost effective, high quality product which is scalable, and also the process is scalable. So some examples I am just giving here. So we recently came out with the process for extraction of the soluble and insoluble fiber arabinoxylon from the wheat and rice bran. Actually, after the extraction of the oil from the wheat and rice, the remaining portion becomes waste. It goes as an animal feed, but it has got a very good percentage of soluble and insoluble fibers, which has got a very good global market. So we have developed the technology wherein we are able to get high purity arabinoxylon at a reduced cost. So you adopting these novel techniques. So the technology has been transferred to industry. Similarly, the pectin is one of the compound which is very much in demand, and there are different sources and it is present in different waste material. So approach is already the industry is adopting it, but what we are trying to do is to incorporate or integrate the process with the newer techniques, so that we will be able to get the good quality product maybe in a lesser number of time, and the environmental point of view also it will be considered as a better technique. So apple pomace, one example, apple pomace, the pomace when we process the fruit and vegetable, the pomace comes out. When you take out the juice, the pomace goes as waste. It can also be a good source of fiber, and it also got other nutrient values. So we have developed a process, a mild process, which helps to retain all the nutrients in the dried fiber or the dried pomace, which can be used as an ingredient in the bakery products. Similarly, the marine waste is again a very good rich source of all the nutrients. So we need to develop processes wherein we will be able to extract the compound in a economically viable way. One example is to the collagen peptide from the fish bone waste is the one which we have developed. Similarly, from the other marine waste, we have developed technologies which are sustainable and scalable. Spent coffee means the plantation product coffee. After extracting the coffee getting the extract, the leftover, the spent is always thrown. So it can be used as a product, as a mouth freshener. which will have the coffee aroma and also some of the ingredients of the coffee. This is how the novel products can be developed from the waste material. So, flavor compounds also, there are plenty of sources from where you can extract the flavor, and that flavor can be added. One example is Decalipus Hamilton, which has got the vanilla flavor, and you can easily extract the vanilla flavor adopting these newer technologies in an economically viable manner, and then incorporate into the product. So, so people are now looking for the natural ingredient rather than going for the synthetic ingredient. So, that way this catches the market. So, pineapple waste, the enzymes like bromelain, which has it's a proteolytic enzyme which has got its digestive aid also. So, normally it is taken from the stem of the pineapple fruit. Now, you can use the peel, you can use the crown, even the stem, the internal portion can also be used, so that it can be extracted. The USP of our process is, instead of going for the conventional process, we have gone for the aqueous process itself. It's called aqueous two-phase extraction method, and also we have gone for the membrane processing, which is again a non-thermal process, which will help us to concentrate the enzyme. Similarly, the coffee waste, using the fermentation technique, you will be able to get some of the enzyme inhibitors which have got very good markets. So, integration of the process like fermentation and other unit operations need to be integrated in such a way that we get the product that we want. The colorants, there are number of sources for colorants which are also having some functional values. So, use of the technology is very, very important to get the good quality colorant, which also retains the color, and also it cost effective when you compare to the synthetic colors also. So, now use of one of the techniques I would like to mention here is a forward osmosis is one technique, wherein we can concentrate the colorant to a higher degree, so that it retains the stability for a longer period. Again, coffee leaves, after harvesting the coffee leaves are thrown out, the coffee leaves could be used as the brew mix. It is like a dip tea, you can use the coffee leaves tea, which can be, it has all the nutrients that are present in the leaf can be utilized by converting into a brew mix. Banana stem is also a huge waste in the banana processing industry. The stem can be used for preparation of the fibers, but the juice can be extracted, and that can be added as an ingredient in the preparation of multiple blended juices. So, we are the first to start this biodegradable material. We started the work in 1980. Now, it is flooded in the market. Recently, we have started using the developed technology, which can use all the agricultural wastes. Today morning, I saw TISTR also has developed some of the technologies like this, which these are all like microwavable and heat resistant, and it is highly biodegradable. Within 20 days, this can get degraded when it is thrown also. So, leather substitute, this is another application we have recently developed in technology transfer. Of course, it is not a food, this non-food category it comes into. So, completely you can eliminate the usage of leather, and the agro waste can be converted into a leather like material, and we can make number of products out of this. All these technologies have been transferred to industry. So, I will conclude my talk. So, there are very good scope for utilization of these agro waste and then converted into food grade material. And now everyone is talking about circular economy. So, from that point of view also is very, very important. So, what we need to do is a holistic approach, wherein we will see end-to-end solution from the raw material handling stage to the final one. The huge potential lies for the collaboration, and CSIR India is ready to collaborate with the interested partners. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hepa. Now we are open for the question from the participants. So if any of you have question, please raise your hand. I think there is no question because your presentation has been very clear, and thank you very much. Now let's welcome our next speaker. He is Professor Dr. Feng Shui Shin. He is from the College of Biotechnology and Pharmaceutical Engineering from Nanjing Tech University of China. So from his experience, Dr. Shin is knowledgeable and expertise in the biotechnology, sustainable bioresource utilization, and innovative approaches for food and bioprocess industry. So please welcome Professor Dr. Shin, please.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you very much for the invitation of the conference community and also the very nice organization. I'm Feng Xuexin from Nanjing Tech University, which is just located in the central part of China and not far from Shanghai. Our university actually focuses on the technology transfer, and our lab has collaborated with quite many companies in China. So today my presentation is a biological synthesis of astaxanthin using yeast. We are also from the Jiangsu Basic Research Center for Synthetic Biology. Actually, my research background is bioengineering. I obtained my PhD degree from the National University of Singapore. This presentation actually is quite scientific, and we have only 10 minutes, so I won't go through very details. So we knew this year the biomanufacturing has been listed as one of the 6 future industries by China government. And they set several goals. One of them is they claim that more than 30% of the fine chemicals will be produced through the biomanufacturing, including the food ingredients. So our focus is on this part. And this background, one of our study is focused on the natural antioxidant, and the astaxanthin is one of our main focus. Why we choose these chemicals? Because it has the strongest antioxidant capacity in the nature, and it has been claimed that the ATX, its antioxidant capacity is 6,000 times over vitamin C. And besides, they have some other functions, for example, like the anti-aging, the eye protection, the immune enhancement, and the exercise health, so on and so forth. Yeah, the ATX has shown huge market potentials in different aspects, including the health supplements, the agriculture, even in the pet food, which is quite hot, especially in China, and also in the livestock farmings. So, and such kind of background, it urgently needs us to find a green and safe biosynthesis pathways. So we summarize the current methods for the ATS synthesis. So the traditional one we know that is from the chemical synthesis. For example, like the BASF and Disman, they have achieved the large scaling production using the chemical synthesis. In nature, the ATX can be extracted from, for example, like the crushed ocean shell or the algae. But for each step, they have their bottlenecks, for example, like the low content and the high cost. With the materials of synthetic biology, so we will genetically modify some model microorganisms. Here we're choosing the yeast because yeast is safe, right? Especially in the food area to achieve the high content of the ATX. But of course, we need to solve some problems. If we're using the yeast as a host for the yeast production, the main is still the lack of cell factories. So before this, actually this is very detailed. The ATX was mainly stored in the cell membrane, and also for the ATX fermentation, it prefers the low temperature. So our focus is to find why the yeast prefer low temperature for the ATX production, and such kind of situation, how to construct the high yield industrial ATX producing strains. So this is our strategy. So we summarize the progress for the ATX production by using yeast. So from the 1971, the first ATX producing yeast was isolated, which was named as a provider. But the problem, as I mentioned, the first is the low temperature. They prefer the 20 or 22 degree. For example, in Thailand, I think there's no way to do the fermentation if under such kind of low temperature. And the other one is a low content. Right now, the titer is below 1 gram per liter. So for the large scaling, it's definitely not economically feasible. So our goals is to improve its production temperature, and also using some model yeast. For example, here we're using the Yerovia as a host for the ATX production. Of course, the final goal is to improve its production. So here is the strategies. One is we're using the under the guidance of the synthetic biology, we're using 2 strategies. First is we isolate some ATS producing native strains. Here is a provider, and then we do the inoculation. We do the mutation to get a high ATX producing strains, and also do some genes identification. Then all of these genes were used to modify some model yeast. Here we choosing the Yeruvia litholytica as a host because it has high content of microbial lipid, which has been used for the microbial oils production. Because the ATX was mainly stored in these oils, it means it has a potential for the large scaling the ATS production. So below, I won't go through the details. So we do quite a lot of isolations. Finally, we find one yeast. It belongs to the provider, and we also do the gene modification. After this is by the fermentation process optimization. You can see we developed a two-stage pre-fermentation. Yeah, you can see the red color is ATS production. Yeah, but the problem is the production is still not high. So we do the further mutation. We're using the DNS and the ETG. To do the several rounds of a mutation to improve its production. For example, here, the ATS production was improved to 0.1 gram per liter, but still not very high. So we further do the mutation using the ARTP and using the high throughput out screening method. We improved its production to 28 degree, and also the ATS production was also improved. Yeah, we do the analysis to why it can synthesize such high amount of ATX. So we do the morphology analysis. We test their ATP, NADP, and LOS levels. Yeah, this is a genomic analysis of the mutant strains and the comparative strains. So we identified several genes. With syndromes, we do the analysis why these genes can improve both the temperature tolerance and also the ATX production. Yeah, and also do the transchromonic analysis. Yes, I won't go through these details. And this is for the membrane analysis because, as I mentioned, the ATX was mainly stored in the membrane. So the membrane composition and the cell membrane's fluidity will definitely affect the ATS production. So finally, we do further optimization. You can see here, the DCW means the dry yeast can be improved to 53 gram per liter, and the ATX production was improved almost like 1 gram per liter, which has almost achieved industrial levels. And the next, we're using some low-cost agricultural food stocks. Here we're using one is very popular in China, especially in the north part of the China in Guangxi province. The sugarcane molasses as a substrate. The other one is a sweet sorghum juice as a substrate. We can see when we're using this using these agricultural feedstocks as a substrate and using our mutant strains as a starting strains, and at the 28 degrees, the ATX production was improved like 1 gram per liter. That means from the economic levels, yeah, it's highly achieved the industrial levels. So for this strain, yeah, the story is end. The next is we're using all of the genes in the model yeast to further improve it. So for this work, it's all genetic works. We do quite a lot of genetic modification for the yeast. We clone the genes from the algae to the yeast. So we can see the yeast can change the color from the white to the red. So that means all of the genes were successfully overexpressed in the yeast for the ATS production. But definitely the production is still very, very low. It's only 0.1 gram per liter. So we are not limited to this. We do quite a lot of any further genetic modifications, like to increase their gene copy numbers. Yes, this is one. And also we're using the different promoters to further improve the gene expression levels. Yeah, and also, yeah, this I won't go through these details. Yeah. And also, this is very interesting because for the Yeruvia, we know that it's for the oil-producing yeast. That means it has several droplets inside. The oil droplets actually can offer the storage space for the ATX. So using the synthetic biology, we increase the cell membrane structure. So that means they offer more spaces for the ATS storage. Yeah, and this kind of works in the finally we in the fermenters. We're using this genetically modified yeast. When we're using the glucose or even as the sugarcane molasses as a substrate, the ATX production was improved to 3.5 gram per liter at 30 degrees. So definitely this is very close to the to the industrial levels, and this is, as reported, the highest ATX production. So yes, for this east, we actually have in China, we have achieving the large scaling production in the biofermenter plants. Yeah, we also have get the patents and also several the awards there. And based on this, one of the problems for the ATX, because the production right now is very, very high, so the production cost dramatically decreased. So when we collaborated with companies, so they're using the ATX as a raw materials, has developed several products widely used, for example, like in the food additives, in the agriculture, in cosmetics, and the food pet, and even in the dietary supplements. Here you can see when the chickens eat this astaxanthins, yeah, the ATXanthin can be accumulated in the egg. So you can see, yeah, the folk, the color is getting darker. Yeah, so that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think I see you sometimes. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And for the participant, please raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay, one question, please.
Thank you, Prof, for your excellent presentation. But I have simple questions just for you. So you are producing ATX, right? And you are using fermentation process by the bioreactor. So in lab scales and also industrial scale, there will be different of amount of bioreactor components, right? So what is the optimum time cycle of that particular bioreactor activities to have the optimum number of ATX? Thank you.
Okay. Yes, we got from the lab scale to the lab scale east. The strength definitely is the main factor. This is one. And when we do the large scaling production, for example, like when we run the big scales, the oxygen, because this actually is a high density fermentation, so the oxygen uptake rate is one of the limiting steps. As I mentioned, actually I didn't go through too much details. We also, for the strains, we do another work we overexpress one genes which can help to uptake the oxygens. But of course, there are a lot of parameters affecting the large scaling. For example, like the carbon, nitrogen source, the fermentation, like the substrate feeding ways, a lot of, yeah, we can discuss the details later. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you once again to Professor Shin. And for the next speaker, please welcome Dr. Ratnanisi from the Research Center for Food Technology and Processing of the National Research and Innovation Agency of BRIN from Indonesia. Please welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today I would like today I would like to present about the processing of mung bean into innovative, marketable, value-added agro product, and it's only 10 minutes. And my name is Ratnanisi. You can call me Ratna, and I come from National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN, Indonesia. And also thank you for the organizing committee that already invite me to join this event. Okay, let's start. This is the outline of my presentation, and next introduction. Mung bean is one kind of protein-rich legume and native to Indian subcontinent, and it already spread out and also cultivated at Asia, and it's become valuable because of the micronutrient like vitamin, mineral, and bioactive compound, and several processing like germination, roasting, and dehulling. It can improve the digestibility and also and reduce anti-nutrient, enhance health benefit, and also new technologies enable product to improve texture and shelf life. And value-added processing diversifies mung bean over beyond raw grain into the beneficial product, and it can enhance the economic opportunities for the farmer and processor. Okay. Next, unit operation, equipment, and critical control point. For the unit operation, dry chain including cleaning, dehulling, milling equipment. For wet chain and starch and beverage including soaking, grinding, centrifuge. Sprout system required hygienic design, and extrusion and retort processing use special machinery. And for critical control point, there are 3. For sprout production, demand strict hygiene, and dry grain needs moisture, and retort can product focus on the thermal process and container integrity. And next, biochemical and functional changes during processing. Processing can reduce the phytate, tannin, oxalate, trypsin inhibitor, and also for germination, it can activate the enzyme, enhancing the digestibility and also reducing the upstream nutrient. While for thermal processing, it's effectively inactive protease inhibitor and also can reduce the active lectin inside the product. And for oligosaccharide, sprouting and advanced soaking reduce the flatulence causing by oligosaccharide, improving the consumer acceptability. And also for starch functionality and noodle quality, gelatinization and also retrogradation usually can improve the functionality of the starch and also noodle from the start. And also extrusion parameter influence noodle transparency, texture, and resistance starch, and also the can produce the low glycemic index product. And for bioactive formation during sprouting, sprouting induce biochemical remodeling increase beneficial compound like GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, and also polyphenol inside the mung bean beverage. And next to innovative value-added product and case studies, there are several innovative value-added products from mung bean, from the mung bean sprout, and gluten-free mung bean flour, and mung bean byproduct paste, mung bean starch, glass noodle, protein isolate, protein concentrate, and the booming one like meat analog, plant-based egg analog, beverage like milk like fermented symbiotic beverage, fermented product like tempe-like, and several retort can mung bean product, and also biopolymer and packaging film. This is study cases from Indonesia and Southeast Asian country. Mung bean in Myanmar, it's dominate global and regional mung bean trade. 30% of global production come from Myanmar, and for Thailand, the glass noodle and also engineered starch industry as a capture one from Thailand, and also advanced processing to improve the functionalities properties. For Vietnam, it's massive on sprout industry and also fresh product. In Indonesia, actually mung bean is the third rank after soybean and peanut, and it's produced to be a filler, and right now it's also we conduct like engineering high moisture extrusion for plant-based meat. And in the Philippines, mung bean is heavily utilized as essential dietary protein to fight anemia and malnutrition. And next, value creation level, sustainability processing parameter to increasing the value of mung bean, like fractionation into special product like starch, protein, and fiber. And for protein fractionation itself, it's usually conduct using alkaline extraction followed by isoelectric precipitation, and also high moisture extrusion parameter to optimize meat analog texture, and gelatinization and retrogradation engineering to increase the resistance starch content, and also to produce the low glycemic index product, and also ultrasound treatment to reduce off level for the beverage product. And for circular economy and byproduct use, the hulling byproduct enriched flour and pasta with dietary fiber and phenolic. And market value chain regulation and technology readiness. There are three segments of the market. The first is high volume, moderate premium. It's usually like a low technology. And the next high premium, like protein isolate and also bakery and meat or analog. And the third is export, for export like starch noodle and safe stable retort food and standardized the half split. And for regulatory and safety consideration in Indonesia, we have SNI standard to support the market acceptance and also competitiveness of the product. And for the sprout, we can use the WHO sprout guidance, and also for a retort processing standard, it's center on the validated schedule process and control of critical factor and container integrity. And this one is technology readiness level. There are 4 levels. The first is for artisanal and micro enterprises. It's the simple technology, and then small, medium enterprises like the half split and flour and dried spot and like this, and then industrial producer like starch extraction, vermicelli line, protein isolate plant, and also industry that require utility load and wastewater and quality control lab. And the next, advanced material or biopolymer. It require material testing, regulatory positioning. And then this barrier for Indonesia, I think. This one maybe targeted research and innovation in Indonesia. We have several, like development support safety protocol for small medium enterprises that standardized bacteria mung bean ingredient, pilot dual stream fractionation facilities, and optimize beverage sensory profile, and also adopt high moisture extrusion for local condition. And this is the conclusion. Mung bean value addition is fundamentally a processing lead strategy, including the highest return come from the controlling unit operation, and matching them to product whose differentiation is technically defensible. And I think the strongest near-term growth pathway for Indonesia is staged approach, strengthen milling, fractionation, and local demand product, and then scale into a higher margin ingredient system. And I think that's enough, Miss. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions from the participants, please? Okay, Okay, thank you once again, and let's move on to our final speaker. She is Dr. Waraporn Sonde. She is the senior researcher from the Expert Center of Innovative Health Food from the Thailand Institute of Scientific and Technological Research of Thailand. And she is also very knowledgeable, and her outstanding work focuses on the innovative health food development and value-added food products that derive from the local resources. So please welcome Dr. Waraporn.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today. And it is my pleasure today to present our work about the traditional Thai herbal extract for enhancing bone health, which is the kind of the increasing value of the plant extract of Thailand. Okay, sorry. For agricultural resource, it is not normally as a raw material only, but it can be a source of the innovation of the ingredients, and maybe it's a solution of the future food for health. So this brings us today to the topic of the traditional Thai herbal extract for bone health. And I will focusing on mainly two extracts, which is the aloe vera extract and noni leaf extract. I will brief you a little bit about the overview of the global aging population nowadays. It's growing fast, and overall it can increase the demand for the healthcare. And I will focusing on the osteoporosis case, which is increasingly nowadays. As the aging population grows, osteoporosis is becoming a silent global epidemic, especially among women, older women. And here show that when you get old, in the below picture, you can see that the bone resorption is accommodating more than the bone formation, which lead to the osteoporotic fracture. And that's why it leads to the increasing market signal of the bone and joint health supplement. Normally in the market, if you go to the grocery or something like a supermarket, you can see a lot of plant extract, which derive from normally in soy isoflavone, the curcumin extract, or also the black sesame. All of this extract can enhance the formation of the bone cells. And yes, the driver is normally from the aging population and also the prevention awareness of people nowadays. And the form of the bone and joint health supplement is normally in the form of capsule and maybe beverage or fortified food. So what is the mechanism that the plant extract can action to the bone? Normally, if you see here, it's the plant extract can stimulate the osteoblast proliferation and differentiation. So what is the osteoblast? The osteoblast is the orange cell here, which is the cell that can stimulate the bone formation. And the action of the bone for the plant extract is also inhibit the osteoclast formation. The osteoclast is a cell that can stimulate the bone resorption. So this brings us to the research that we try to identify or extract the plant bioactive compound, which is can stimulate the osteoblast cell and inhibit the osteoclast cells. And this too is the target plant. It is classified as a Thai herbal, which is aloe vera and noni leaves. As you see here, I think that you ever know a lot about the aloe vera. Aloe vera is normally for your scar healing or for make you beauty skin, something like that. And it also have the other function, which it has a acimene or the bioactive compound that can stimulate your bone health. And also the noni leaves, it also have the bioactive compound that can inhibit the osteoblast cells. And if you see here the market value and opportunity of this extract may be very high. It can expand of a section of the global herbal extract market, which is nowadays higher up to 61 billion US dollar. For the first case study is the aloe vera extract. As I showed you before, the aloe vera extract can have some bioactive compound that enhance the bone health. The one is the acimannane. This acimannane can stimulate the regenerative potential of the bone cells. And we try to define or try to optimize the production process by using the bioactive compound extraction method, which have a lot of steps that include enzymatic extraction. And then we choose the best condition to do the clinical study, which is in the cell study, subchronic toxicity study, and also animal study. We also produce in the pilot scale production, and we found that it can yielding the final extract up to 30%, and the bioactive compound here also appear. It means that we can optimize the laboratory extraction to upscale production, which is not different. And we also do the preclinical evidence in the animal study. We divided the mouse into two groups. One of that group is the rat that is no ovary, which is the OV group. And then we treat the extract to this group, and then it showed that the group that don't have the ovary and intake the the aloe vera extract can increase the bone volume. And this result indicate that the aloe vera extract will stimulate osteoblast activity and also the bone regeneration. And overall, we also transfer this technology to Bangkok Aloe Limited Partnership. And the thing that we lack for this study is a clinical study, which we try to have a funding to continue this part. For the other case study, which is a noni leaf extract. For noni leaf, the bioactive compound that can stimulate the bone formation is the asparoside. This is a glycoside structure, and normally it can extract by using water extraction. And there is some research that can done before to prove that the asparoside can stimulate the bone formation. And here show overview of the research. In this case, I use cellulase and penicillase to enhance the production process to increasing the yield of the extraction, and then take the noni leaf extract to do the other experiment on the bone cells. And it showed that for the asparoside content, by using the cellulase acid extraction, maybe have a higher content of the of this compound. So we choose the compound from the process of the cellulase acid extraction for further experiment. And we also use this to treat the cells, the human osteoblast cells, and observe for the alkaline phosphatase activity. The alkaline phosphatase activity is a bone formation, is a key enzymes of the bone formation and mineralization. And it shows that in the star, we observe that the extract, which is using 0.8 nanogram per milliliter for 7 days, can stimulate the human osteoblast cells to produce more cells. And we also observe the SEO class sales viabilities. As I told you, SEO class are the bone resolving sales, and it showed that when increase the extract concentration up to 250 nanogram per milliliter, it can reduce the SEO class sales. So it indicates that this nonil leaves extract can suppress the development of the bone resorption. And here is my conclusion and future perspective. As I show you, these two Thai medicinal plants can have high potential to use as the raw material for the plant extract or bioactive compound for bone formation. And I think that for the future perspective, the clinical validation should be conducted in order to make it more sustainable to sell in the market. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And are there any questions from the participant, please?
No, thank you.
No question. Thank you. So we will move to the session 2 of the regional symposium. In session 1, we heard a number of interesting examples of how agro resources can be transformed into the value-added products through the innovation and technology. So now in this next session, we will be looking more deeply at the future collaboration. We will hear from our speakers about the partnerships, about the regional cooperation, and how can we work together to advance the sustainable food processing development across the Asia Pacific region. So it's time to welcome our first speaker, technologist Dr. Radin Sun Asmi from the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation of Malaysia, and Asen Kosti, please.
Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues, representative from Cairo, Mr. fellow ASEAN colleagues, and also ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me and for honor to join this important regional symposium on sustainable food processing. I would like first to congratulate the organizers for bringing together the policymakers, researchers, industry representatives, and also international partners from across the Asia Pacific region. Today I would like to share not only Malaysia's experience, but also a broader ASEAN perspective on how science and technology can help us scale sustainable food processing and strengthen food security in our region. Across ASEAN, the food processing sector is experiencing significant growth, driven by population expansion, urbanization, changing consumer preference, and also the rising incomes. However, this growth also comes with increasing pressures. Industries are expected to meet growing demand while remain globally competitive and at the same time address the rising production costs, resource constraints, climate-related risks, and also evolving sustainable expectations. Therefore, one question before us is not whether sustainability should be pursued, but rather how sustainability can be integrated into food systems in a way that strengthens productivity, competitiveness, and long-term resilience. Okay, this slide illustrates what I believe is the critical balancing act facing the ASEAN food sector today. On one side, we see tremendous growth opportunities. We see the demand for processed and packaged food products across ASEAN is projected to increase significantly over the coming years. This growth creates opportunities for investment, job creation, innovation, and regional trades. Yet, on the other side, industries are facing increasing operational pressures. Production costs continue to rise, climate change is affecting agricultural productivity, supply chains are becoming more complex, consumers are increasingly demanding food products that are safe, sustainable and traceable. In short, ASEAN is experiencing unprecedented growth but also unprecedented pressure. The bridge between these two realities is sustainable innovation. Sustainability should not be viewed as a cost. Increasingly, sustainability is becoming a source of competitiveness. Companies that improve resource efficiency, reduce waste, strengthen traceability and adopt innovative technologies are often the same companies that become more resilient and more competitive in the long term. Okay, recognizing these challenges, ASEAN recently merged the subcommittee on biotechnology and the subcommittee on food science and technology. And now in the new subcommittee on biotechnology and food system platform. This reflects ASEAN's recognition that biotechnology, food innovation and food security can no longer be addressed separately. Malaysia is privileged to chair this committee during the initial phase, and one of our priorities is to strengthen regional collaboration in sustainable food system. In Malaysia, biotechnology serves as one of the key enablers under the National Biotechnology Policy, or we call it DBN 2.0. Under this policy, sustainable productions and food security have been identified as a national priority area through flagship Program 1. The objective is straightforward: to utilize advanced biotechnology and emerging biotechnologies to strengthen food security, improve productivity, optimize resource utilization, and create higher value bio-based industries. The program focuses on productivity enhancement, resource optimization, post-harvest innovation, and also on circular bioeconomy solution. For example, agriculture and aquaculture productivity can be enhanced through molecular technologies, improved livestock breeds, crop improvement, and advanced diagnostic. Our objective is not simply to produce more food, but to produce food more sustainably, efficiently, and competitively through science, technology, and innovation. What is particularly interesting is that many of these priorities are not unique to Malaysia. If we compare Malaysia's national priorities just now with what ASEAN's newly identified SCBFS focus area, we can observe a strong convergence. The focus area under the SCBFS include food innovation and safety, sustainable agriculture and aquaculture, circular bioeconomy, bio-based products, water, food, energy nexus, and also responsible biotechnology and bioethics. These are increasingly becoming shared regional priorities, and these alignments provides a strong foundation for future collaboration and joint initiative among ASEAN member states. So policy alone do not deliver outcomes. What is equally important is having institutions capable of translating research into industry solutions. In Malaysia, this ecosystem brings together research institutes, universities, governments, government agency, and also industry players to support the full innovation value chain, from research and technology development to commercialization and market adoption. More importantly, these institutions are increasingly engaging regional and international partners, creating opportunities for cross-border collaborations. One example is the National Institute of Biotechnology Malaysia, or we call it NIBM. NIBM supports the implementation of Malaysia's biotechnology agenda through applied research, technology validation, and also industry partnership. Its works includes food quality and safety testing, advanced food processing technologies, innovative food products, and circular economy initiative. What is particularly relevant to today's discussion is the emphasis on converting scientific innovation into practical solutions that can be adopted by industry, especially SMEs and food producers. These are the types of capabilities that can complement broader ASEAN efforts in sustainable food processing. Beyond research institutions, Malaysia also recognizes the innovation that must ultimately reach the market. This is where bioeconomic cooperation plays an important role as the commercialization and industry development agency for the biotechnology policy sector. Through investment, promotion, SME development, funding facilitation, talent development, and market access programs, bioeconomic cooperation helps bridge the gap between laboratory innovation and commercial deployment. This demonstrates an important lesson for all of us. Successful food innovation requires not only technology development, but also the right ecosystem to scale and commercialize those innovations. While these examples illustrate Malaysia's national efforts, the challenges we face are regional in nature. Therefore, ASEAN collaboration remains essential. Through SCBFS, we are beginning to build regional platforms that allow member states to share expertise, develop joint initiatives, and address common challenges collectively. What has ASEAN collaboration actually delivered? Before I conclude, I would like to highlight several examples of regional collaboration that have already been implemented through ASEAN platforms. These initiatives span policy studies, scientific research capacity building, food innovation, and public engagement. For example, the engineering biology scoping study helped identify future biotechnology opportunities across ASEAN. The study is currently undertaken by us, and hopefully we will be finished by end of this year. The ASEAN COVID-19 genomics projects demonstrated the importance of scientific cooperation and data sharing. And the UK, Southeast Asia Vaccine Manufacturing Research Hub strengthened regional research and manufacturing capabilities. Meanwhile, platforms such as ASEAN Bioethics Seminar and ASEAN Food Conference continue to bring together researchers, regulators, industry players, and policymakers. While these initiatives address different thematic areas, they share a common lesson. No single country possesses all the expertise, infrastructures, or resources needed to address increasingly challenges alone. The same principle applies to sustainable food processing. I believe ASEAN's strength lies in our diversity. Some member states possess strong agricultural resources. Others have advanced processing capabilities, research expertise, regulatory experience, or commercialization ecosystem. So as we look ahead, sustainable food security must be viewed not merely as a national priority, but also as a shared regional responsibility. The Asia-Pacific region is home to more than 60% of the world's populations and faces many common challenges, including climate change, resource constraints, supply chain disruption, and also growing food demand. In this context, regional collaboration becomes not an option, but a necessity. Malaysia stands ready to work with our ASEAN partners and international organizations such as WITRO, CSIRO, and others to strengthen knowledge sharing, technology transfer, joint research, and capacity building. Through these collective efforts, we can build more resilient food systems, create greater value from our agricultural resources, and ensure that innovation benefits not only individual countries, but the region as a whole. Let us move beyond exchanging ideas and begin scaling solutions together, because sustainable food security is not a destination for any one country, but a shared journey for the entire Asia-Pacific region. With that, I thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will take some time for the participant to ask the questions. So are there any questions so far, please? Please raise your hand. No question? Okay, thank you. We will move on to our next speaker. She is CHM Dr. Nur Elena Binti Asmi, the senior scientist from Serim Berhad of Malaysia. So please welcome Dr. Nur Elena.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me as one of the speakers today. Okay, I'm Nurelina from Sirim Berhad, from Biosafety and Compliance Testing Section, Life Sciences Center, Sirim Berhad. I've been working with Sirim for 19 years. So today, I would like to share the perspective of Sirim on regional collaboration for sustainable food processing development. Okay, this is my presentation overview. Okay, actually, Sirim Berhad is one agency under Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry Malaysia. Our vision is to contribute towards national policy and be the best partner for innovation. So we also help industry. Okay, actually this all in Sirim present nationwide. We have 4 off-campus facilities. We have 3 state offices, 5 regional offices, and 1 international branch in China, Sirim Huangshan, China. And we have 463 Sirim experts. It includes 16 professional engineers, 156 approved signatories, trainers, auditors, technologists, and professional technicians. So I will summarize this one in 10 minutes. I will try to summarize this. Okay, before I going to technical session, I would like to also present on YTRO. As you know, YTRO is a global network of research technology organization established in 1970 and now has members across 5 regions and 90 countries, with focusing on international collaboration, innovation and SDG, capacity building and technology transfer. And I believe that today, speaker, most of them is a member of YTRO, like from Nanjing University, Sister, and NFI, and Green also. Yes. And okay, YTRO have launched the new website called an opportunity for members and non-members to explore for funding calls, partner search, training program, and global activities. They also have shared project news and event available for YTRO members. Can submit through the online portal to showcase their research project. And with me today is Ms. Siti Hasmah, one of the representative of YTRO from Malaysia. And they will be having a YTRO summit in Turkey in November this year. You're pleased to explore and join in. Okay. Now going to the technical part, the current challenges in sustainable food processing. This data is extracted from New Industrial Master Plan Malaysia on food processing industry roadmap. The first one is food security. On the supply chain disruption from recent events like COVID, geopolitical instability and climate change. This one, to overcome this problem, we need the RDCI, preservation technology and resilient food system. And on food wastage, globally 40% of global food is lost before reaching retail level. Malaysia also facing increases across the supply chain and resource losses. And then the export ecosystem, we know right now the EU export market requires traceability and ESG compliance. The exporters maybe something need to provide the GPS of the farm and supply chain value, which then they have to include the cost and infrastructure on AI system. And then the sustainability pressure, higher food demand must be met with lower environmental impact for the ESG. Okay, and now we go to why regional collaboration matters. First, the push factor is the rising demand. We know there are rising demand for safe, sustainable and traceable food because nowadays consumer is not looking the food as a food itself. They want to know the traces, where it comes from, how the safety of the food. And we also have the pressure factor from the climate change, food security challenges, export compliance requirement and sustainable manufacturing expectation. So how we want to overcome this problem? As we know, Asia as strategic agro food hub, we have diverse agro resources, strong regional connectivity, growing market and innovation collaboration potential. So together we can be a resilient, sustainable and competitive agro-food ecosystem. Okay, why a collaboration is the is the solution, competition to co-creation. It's not, right now we are not talking about compete with each other, but we're talking about collaborate with each other. So we know that all the Asian countries have the academia, intelligence hub, we have government and dynamic policy for any funding. We have testing body from Thailand, we have TISTA, we have Syria from Malaysia, and also other countries. Then we have industry and cross-border production, multi-country manufacturing model, and we have also market agile consumer loop. Okay, this is an example of Asian collaboration and value chain. We can see the Asian collaboration ecosystem, the agriculture of Asian industry like Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia, and also the technology hub from Singapore. And below the value chain from agro resources to global market. From the agro resources, we have a rich and diverse city of agro and also marine and biodiversity. And then for innovation processing, we have all the experts all around the world. I think today we also have, we have from India, we have from Australia. And for safety, quality assurance, we also have a testing facility for scale-up commercialization, and we need to collaborate with industry, I believe, regional market access, and global market. Okay, now I will share how SIRIM can also contribute in the collaboration in the food processing ecosystem. This is some SIRIM R&D on food. Okay, the first one is a valorization of biomass, and the below one is the low processing complexity. That means we can use a byproduct from agricultural waste like pulp, husk, and make it as animal feed, organic fertilizer, or bioenergy with a minimal sample pretreatment. And then the second one, in the medium one, is medium grade cosmetic ingredient. Okay, we have SIRIM have one collaboration with a company which using the extract, bromelain extract from pineapple. Then they put in the formulation cosmetic, and they're using the peel to make a scrub, cosmetic scrub. And the above one is high-grade functional food and supplement or nutraceutical. This one we recently have one project with, in Malaysia we call it jeruk, but it's a pickle fruit or fermented fruits. So the company, usually they will ferment the whole fruits, but after that they will extract the seed and then sell only the fruit. So what we do is we take the seed and we do some extraction, and we do the profiling of the extraction, and know that it has some microbiome that is good for gut health. So they make a formulation to make a functional drink, a beverage, the product. So I think like different countries have different agricultural byproduct that we can utilize. That is still under explore. Okay, the next one is another R&D on antimicrobial packaging or smart packaging. This one we're using bio-based polymer, chitosan. Instead of using plant cellulose, they are using bacterial cellulose, because in Asian country, when they are producing, they're using coconut to make coconut jelly, using coconut water. Then after they like mass manufacturing, they have the excess byproduct of the coconut jelly. That one we're using as a cellulose source for packaging. And then the antimicrobe properties comes from the pomelo extract. The pomelo extract has naringin, which gives antimicrobe properties. Then we do some compounding, extrusion, and make a bio-based polymer film. We already have attackers for this, and the antimicrobe show 99% activity towards foodborne pathogen like Salmonella and E. coli. So right now it only at a pilot scale, and we're looking forward maybe some collaboration to go to industrial scale. Okay, that's why it's on SIRIM R&D. So I will go now for SIRIM support services. We have our subsidiary SIRIM Academy. Syrian Academy provide technical training on the food handlers and management. They also provide advisory services for gap analysis, halal excellence, expert training on MS 1500 requirement for halal assurance management system, and professional auditing, recognized internal and lead auditor courses. This is from our subsidiary, Syrian Academy. And then we have Syrian KRS for product certification. They provide the food testing services. This one is a compulsory, testing for food labeling, nutritional labeling, sugar analysis, heavy metal contaminant, shelf life study, and also halal testing. Okay, for halal testing, there are 3 pillars. They provide, the one is halal like DNA detection, protein analysis, electing identification, and meat content verification. This more to molecular work. And then for Taliban or wholesomeness and safety, they have heavy metal, pesticide residue, allergen tests, antibiotic residue tests, and they package it with training and competency development on halal. Okay, these are some the capabilities and equipment. Okay, then next, for food, we offer also physical and chemical analysis, the physical properties, chemical profiling for authentication of edible birdness, authentication of honey, herbal active compounds in beverages, contaminants like seafood toxin, veterinary residue and acrylamide, and also nutritional analysis. Okay, beside the physical and chemical, we also have biosafety team analysis in Singapore Heart. So we have our microbiologists. We have also biocompatibility GLP lab. So we do the cytotox and acute oral. And one more right now, we also offer for pesticide producer who want to register their pesticide to pesticide board. They need to do 6 testing. We also provide the toxicology test. And then the biochemical assay team, they are more focusing to do profiling of the extract of agricultural waste, and from them they know what is the bioactive, like antioxidant, anti-aging. And then we have the food contact material team. They're doing the material migration and material food contact material testing, like residual solvent, polyaromatic hydrocarbon, fatty acid, and ethanol content. Okay, and then in the North region, we have Syrian Advanced Material. Syrian Advanced Material help the food packaging industry in material selection, food contact, migration assessment, physical analysis, durability, and material characterization. And we have our pilot scale facility for packaging. And how we help the industry, because some of the industry, they're using their facility for their manufacturing. But on R&D side, they don't have the small scale facility to do the R&D. So they outsource the R&D side to us, and after that only they go to the industry scale. Okay, I think that's all from me. So I hope this presentation will provide useful insight into the opportunity for regional collaboration. Syria is ready to contribute our expertise.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Are there any questions from the participants, please?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we are pleased to welcome Dr. Crispin Howitt. He is the Senior Principal Research Scientist from the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, or CSIRO, from Australia, so please welcome.
Thank you, and thank you to the organisers. It's a privilege to be here and to talk about some of the work that we're doing at CSIRO and our thinking about regional collaboration and sustainability for new industries, and particularly in the food processing space. But scaling innovation is something that CSIRO, or Australia's National Science Agency, are around 5,000 people across 45 sites in Australia, and we have about 800 people focused on just agriculture and food. Scaling innovation is something that we're actually thinking a lot about, and we're in the process of a restructure at the moment, and I and a number of my colleagues in the room are actually moving into a team when the restructure goes live in July that's called Scaling Innovation. So we're creating a whole team around about how do we scale innovation and how do we make it live. So at a high level, some of our thinking is how do we actually transition from actually building a business to building an industry. We do a lot of work in CSR about novel technologies, creating technologies. You know, I've been involved in development of technologies and moving them along, kicking people out the door with here's our startup, off we go raise some money and grow. And you know, it's a great thing to see that happening, but what we invariably see is at some point in the food industry, the cost of scaling is expensive. As soon as you start building factories, as soon as you start putting steel in the ground, startups often don't have the capital to do that, and their backers don't have the capital to do that. So we're moving our thinking about how do we actually create an ecosystem that helps that scaling process, and we actually create a whole new industry that can scale together rather than the individual company trying to scale by itself, try and share the load, share some of the problems that comes from single companies trying to scale. It's also really important that if we set an us and them situation up, it doesn't work, because if you take on a big player in an existing industry, they've got the resources to go after you or say their product's better, they can out-compete you. And even with the alternative proteins, we in CSIRO have always pushed that it should be complementary proteins. Alternative is an us versus them. Complementary is it actually fits into the existing food system and you grow with that food system. So it has to integrate well and have a place in that system, not directly compete. It's also really important that as you do this, to get those first two right and to also grow, you actually have to have a policy framework in place to allow innovation to scale. It doesn't matter how good your idea is, how good your company is, how much capital they raise, if there are policy roadblocks that physically actually prevent them from moving to that next step, developing scale. So you've got to think about policy at the same time as you're thinking about the technology and how to move that company forward. And particularly in the food space, the outcomes must meet consumers' expectations around price, taste, nutrition and sustainability. And if we just go back to the plant-based proteins again, there's been a lot of work on plant-based meats. It's a really interesting space and there's a real opportunity there. But I would argue that the burger was a really bad place to start, and particularly putting burgers into the Asian market. There are so many better plant-based foods in the Asian markets than a burger. It doesn't taste like a burger. So you have to say they didn't meet the taste, they didn't meet the nutrition, they didn't meet the price. So they were trying to compete on sustainability alone. And consumers don't like that. I certainly don't go back and buy a food I don't like again, and maybe it's got better since last time I bought it. But the other thing with food that's really important is if you're creating a new category of food, it's actually a category experience the first time you taste that food. It's not just a company experience or a product experience. If a cheap competitor comes on and puts something that's absolutely rubbish out, and that's the first one you eat, you probably never go back to that category. So you put the whole category on. So the next step, I'm going to talk about some of the programs that we've been running in Southeast Asia over the last 10 years now nearly. And the first one is Oz for Innovation, and Andy Hall is here today as one of the key people behind this. So this was a program that started in 2018 with funding from Australian Aid, CSIRO co-funds and manages the project, and Ministry of Science and Technology in Vietnam is a key partner in this. It's a large program over 10 years. And it was focused on building resilient agriculture and food, and also at the same time responsible digital transformation. We've seen in a number of the other talks already, digital is important, particularly when you're getting down to food safety, food compliance, and those things. If that's all done as a digital chain, you have that digital knowledge sitting there to go along with it, it becomes much easier to meet the compliance that you need to do. So where this actually started, and the key elements is there was innovation policy dialogues up front about how do we work, what's the innovation policy, what's the innovation system in place, and what can we do about that to facilitate and help co-create with the Vietnamese partners framework papers that they could then think about policy on. There's funding involved, you have to create a network of actors across all of Vietnam, key areas of your focus, and then you've got to build the innovation partnerships. And it really has a very big goal in terms of strengthening Vietnam's innovation system and accelerate economic growth by 2045. This is a 10-year project and have it a high-income country by 2045. And so it's shaping and delivering science, technology and innovation. In terms of what it's done, and so this is sort of just a high-level report card from 2023. Obviously, we're now 3 years beyond that. But at that point, the first thing down the bottom, you start down the bottom right, there were 10 policy papers developed, co-developed with the Vietnamese partners. As a result of that, it's actually changed some of the Vietnamese policies around delivery of science innovation, which then starts to create that framework you need to deliver sustainable innovation at scale. There were 1,900 people by that point introduced to the multifacets of innovation. Innovation is a nice buzzword, but it's actually a complex idea and process. And so you actually have to introduce people what innovation is, what you can do with innovation, and how to deliver it. There were 875 pool of trainers and experts developed through capacity of building activities. There were 8 platforms established in Vietnam. 37 of the provinces of Vietnam were engaged in this process, so it wasn't just a little program about we're doing one, it's thinking at scale. And we've got 37 provinces involved. And there were 82 partnerships built between Australia and Vietnam. So this is sort of a big scheme, high-level thinking about how do you develop innovation and scale it across the whole country with certain focus areas. On the other end of the scale, we've also been working with some much smaller programs and thinking about just getting the thinking going. So one of the programs that we've run is called Innovations in Food and Sustainability. And again, that starts with dialogues. We've been running one in Singapore, and we're first ones, we're 1 year into a process here in Thailand among us. But again, that starts with dialogues with industry and government to actually identify what the priorities are. We at CSIRO know what the Australian priorities are, don't know what the priorities in Asia are. We've got experience, but we can't be a partner in any of this work if we're coming in saying we know what the problem is and we know what to do. We have to start with those dialogues and learn from what people on the ground do. We then co-develop projects in those priority areas with researchers in country, and the framework around these projects are that they're complementary skills between the Australian researchers and the local researchers. And to be a fundable project, there have to be clear synergies between the two research programs being developed that either move the technology or the innovation further or faster or both in the time frame. We don't want to set up and create a pool of money where you go. Here in Australia, I'm doing my pet project and I've got 2 years more funding, and we've got our local partners going and I've got 2 years funding. The end result is they go, in 2 years' time, how do we get more funding? We want 2 years' time how do we take this to market or fast fail as opposed to work. So where we are at the moment, we have 4 joint projects funded between CSIRO and A-STAR in Singapore, and we're working here in Thailand at the moment naysayers watch this space. We're moving along quite rapidly. The second program at the smaller scale is what we call the venture exchange program, and it's about supporting deep tech startups and SMEs to explore new market opportunities. So one of the things we do is we have cohorts of startups from both Australia and country. Again, we run this in Singapore first, and we take Australian startups into Singapore and Singaporean startups into Australia. So they get exposed to new potential partners, a potential new market, but also a different way of thinking and thinking about how do I actually change my pitch, and how do I change how I talk to things when I'm talking to a different market, because it won't work in a different market selling what you're selling in your home country generally. It's not an accelerator, it's about it's an education system, and it provides support on the go-to-market strategy and then engage across the value chain so they actually understand where they fit in and what else needs to happen for them to be successful. So I said we've had 2 programs completed in Singapore, 16 teams. One of those teams is the Australian team in Singapore, met their major backup in their seed rounds and got most of their funding from that. And we're in the process of nearly completing the build of the program here in Thailand. So if you're in Thailand and you're interested, please visit the website to find out more, because we hope to open the call very, very soon. So just in summary of where our thinking is, you have to have government and industry engagement before you even start thinking about research engagement, so your real problems. And that has to be federal and local governments as well. You need programs and projects that have to address a market need. A good idea at the time is not good enough for innovation. There has to be a clear need of what you're delivering and why consumers want it. You have to have a clear picture of what your pathway to translate is to impact. It might not be the right pathway or the pathway you take in the end, but you have to have an idea of what it will look like up front. And you have to collaborate and have a collective approach to the bid to deliver. And underpinning all of this is actually a shared vision. If you have a different vision, you will not achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Crispin. And now we open the floor for the participants. Are there any questions so far, please? Okay, one question.
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Teresa Homalon. I'm from the Philippines and a farmer scientist. My question is your country also is interested in a small, medium enterprise from the Philippines to give a market opportunities? Because most of us, we are a food manufacturer to visit here in ProPac Asia. Thank you.
So, the short answer is yes.
Thank you very much.
The complex answer is, we develop these projects in country where we can find funding. So we need to work out on the mechanisms, and that again comes back to talking to Philippines government, Australian government. If there's interest, then how do we actually develop these projects on the ground? But it all comes back to what's that source of funding, and that's also why it's important to talk to government.
Are there any other question, please? No more question. Oh, one more question.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm also from the Philippines. I just was curious about the venture exchange program. So, for example, if you do that in Singapore, is that only for the locals within the country?
So the original premise was yes, it was only for local, but we actually had one Malaysian team in the first Singapore cohort. But there's nothing to stop us thinking about how you can run these in other countries. But you need to have enough startups and you need to have a focus.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Crispin. And next, we will move to our final speaker in this session 2. Please welcome Ms. Yuwapha Jaibun. She is the Vice President of Department of Manufacturing from the National Food Institute of Thailand. So please welcome.
Good afternoon everybody สวัสดีทุกท่านนะคะก็ภาษาไทยเดี๋ยวถามกันได้นะคะ First I will speak English. Okay. Thank you for opportunity from the organization to invite me to invite National Food Institute to present on today. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Tista. Thank you, Junido and Informa Market so much. Okay. I'm really exciting because I saw every speaker in your first part is a very in-depth research. You know, I'm really wonderful about your presentation from in the first part. And our presentation is in the second part about the diving of future food of food security in Thailand. Okay. Next. Okay. For co-processing for 4.0 year, in my idea, if I have a topic from this guy, how I can present to understand. Because we will co-processing on this. Very, very cheap. The reason is one part of decision and such a deep intensification. And very important about the LOT and AI have many activity to drive us to change. We can feed the goal world sustainability because I have the reason to change. Because the rising is a demand, because the population grow, require massive caloric increase. And the second reason is about limit of resource, because we have a level land and fresh water rich operation is narrow and limit, right? And now, I think every country in the region we have the effect, no? From increase certainly because about the state of we have a pricing, have a high cost from anything from this reason, and we have the trade barrier to traffic us. It's many problem. I think it's the same of us. Very big problem in Thailand. Okay, in the old world, we proceed in the steady state, right, step by step. But in the modern world, everything changed. Yes, because they have the critical failure. I think it's from the reason too. First is from climate disruption. And the second is from fragile supply chain to the global bottleneck failure under the consequences microeconomic shock. And the last is a resource constraint. Yes. Okay. Bye, Mai. Okay. If I will compare in the last model and now, we should be changed to the circular bioeconomy because in the old world, we produce and dry in the linear, right? And now we should be changed to circular bioeconomy model. Design, go and make use and return to regenerate to strategy assess and to value and to biology regeneration re-engineering. Maybe help us. Processing in the new value in national food idea. The value is no longer generated from at farm. It's related to processing, I think, in Thailand. in Thailand. The farm we processing value distributor to is a three in this. Two additive protein and functional ingredient and bio-based. It's a dry-in market now, right? It's a three driver. It's very important for us to transform. The driver one is a scalable technology to engineering system, capability continuous high volume production. Driver two is enabling infrastructure, feasibility pilot plan and shared process facilitator. And the three driver is very important for us. Is sustainability and requirement to global market. Please don't make your product if not so meet to the global market, right? It's the outlook of Thailand ใช่ไหมคะดร.น่าจะถูกเนาะ It's a for Thai industry outlook 2025 and 2026 we focus on new curve in 6 pillar. One is about architect, food architect. Number 2 is about medical and wellness. And 3 is about green economy. Look like diving, EV manufacturing and next generation, and bioplastic. And the 4 is about digital tech. Number 5 is we focus on logistics and aerospace. And the last one is about creative economy. It's very important because if you see at the right box, for Thailand GDP, to drive the Thai GDP, more than 60% from service, not from industry. Yes, right. From industry, just only 24 to 30% is from manufacturer. Key strategy to drive is adopt AI and automation for labor shortage and adopting to global carbon credit, ESG, supply chain and resilience. You focus on upstream to downstream integration value chain development. I will fast because I have just only 10 minutes. On this slide, I will show you about the MSME and large scale in Thailand. We have 145,000 establishment in Thailand, but the number of MSMEs is 99%, and the large scale just only 0.7 is very small, but in the employment play in the industry, large enterprise is 50 and MSME. Okay. Okay. Go to the future. Why to the future food? Because Thai export landscape in 2025 market. If you show you top export to community in Thailand. First is about fresh food, chicken and rice, pet food, cassava, sugar, tuna. If you see, it's very more is a raw material, not value add. Yes, we export just only to market, just only 8.9, very small. If you proceed to the future food, you have more opportunity in the market, right? It's a global destination, China from Dr.